We're delighted once again to be welcoming fans back to the EnviroVent Stadium for our League 2 fixture against Forest Green Rovers. We're putting together a short video of information that those attending will need to be aware of, as there's some differences to what you'd have been used to. So if you're attending tomorrow's game, the first thing you need to be aware of is that when you get to the turnstiles, there'll be sanitizer outside. We'd ask you to use this before proceeding through. When you arrive at the turnstiles, please have on hand either your e-ticket on your smartphone, or if you want to print it at home like so, please do. You'll also need to have your mask on, as when you get into the stadium, you'll be expected to wear it at all times unless you're having a bite to eat or drink. Please note, you won't be able to buy anything when you're in the ground, as all our kiosks are shut tomorrow, but you may bring one small bag with some food and drinking to consume when in the ground. So once you've got into the ground through the turnstiles, you'll notice there's more sanitizer. We'd ask you to use it before you make your way around to the stand you'll be watching the game from. If you're in the main stand seats or the car park terrace, you'll make your way down the front of the Aeon stand to access it. If you're in the Wetherby Road seats, you'll take a right and you'll go around the back of the Wetherby Road terrace to get to your seat. So if you're watching the game from the main stand seated area or the car park terrace, we'd ask you, once you're through the turnstiles, to come across the front of the Aeon stand to get over there. There's a one-way system in place for the game, and we would ask you to remain socially distanced while walking around and keep moving quickly until you get to your seat or the terrace. So if you've been allocated a ticket in the car park terrace for the fixture, we'd ask you to make your way around the front of the Aeon stand straight into the terrace here. Remember to keep your mask on at all times unless eating or drinking, and keep a metre apart from those who aren't in your social bubble. You'll notice that we've got signage all around the ground pointing the one-way systems out, reminding you of the rules, including to keep your mask on and to make sure that you're keeping your distance. So if you're in the car park terrace for the game, we would ask you to use the toilets at the rear of the Aeon stand behind us. To get there, you go around the back of the stand where you'll see the queues in place that are going to be looked after by the stewards. We have got smaller than usual capacities for the toilets, so we would ask you to wait in the queue at a social distance until the capacity drops and you can go in. The stewards will let you know as and when this can happen. When you return into the car park terrace, you'd come back around the front of the one-way system, so the front of the Aeon stand, and back into the terrace. We would ask you, if you can, look to avoid peak times when using the toilet. So if you're allocated a seat in the main stand for tomorrow's fixture, we would ask you to make your way around the front of the Aeon stand and straight into the main stand here. You'll notice that the row and seat number is shown on the front of your ticket, and we would ask you to use that seat that you have been allocated. We've had to do it this way to ensure maximum capacity and ensure that there's social distancing throughout the stand. That includes every other row being shut and aisle seats not being used. If you're in the main stand, we would ask you to remain in your seat at all times throughout the game unless you need to go to the toilet. The toilets for the people in the main stand are new and they're underneath the stand itself. The gents are to the right as you look at the pitch, the ladies to the left. We will have a map online that you'll be able to see, and stewards are on hand to point in the right direction if you ever have any problems. So we have had to allocate a few of our seated supporters in the Wetherby Road stand behind me. To get here, you walk around the back of the EnviroVent terrace. Stewards will point in the right direction. We'd ask you to sit in your allocated row and seat, which will be printed clearly on your e-ticket. The toilet facilities for those in the Wetherby Road stand are at the rear of the Aeon stand at the top end, and we would ask you to follow the one-way system in order to get there and return to your seat. So at the end of the match, we're going to have a phased exit. That means that the car park terrace will empty first, followed by each block of the main stand. Please listen out to the PA announcer and stewards who will coordinate this. We would ask you to cooperate, as it will make it easier and quicker for everyone to get out of the stadium. So just a reminder, please don't try and travel to tomorrow's game unless you've been issued an e-ticket, which everyone should have been sent now via email. Keep your mask on at all times whilst in the stadium, and most of all, we are so looking forward to welcoming everyone back to the EnviroVent Stadium for what will be a memorable day in the EFL League 2. Thank you.